Good morning. I just woke up. It's time to vlog. This vlog is shot on iPhone today because, I kind of was like out of the mood after the last vlog, and for reasons, I'm gonna film this next one, and I think this will be fun. But I think it's probably just easiest if I just do this on my phone. I don't have to worry about color grading. I can just throw it in, throw on the pictures, do it all on my phone, and be a lot more consistent. I have actually I'm always have plots of cameras I want that I think it would be fun to even shoot the vlog on, but um, the goal going into this new year is to not buy another camera, so we'll see. So I was thinking about recapping like year and stuff and all that jazz, but I think I'm honestly gonna save that for a different video because I would rather be a little bit more lighthearted. So today come along with me. I'm just single take. I don't edit these. Okay. So today, come along with me as I go through some shots that I shot during my little trip just now for the holidays. I'm leaving out a bit of like the family stuff and just skipping straight to what I took when I was with Kale in LA. So the reason I wanted to do this is just because that's how I started doing photography, and that's like the hobby of it for me, is actually mostly just walking. I think it is for most people, but just walking, taking pictures of stuff. Like when I talk about photo or doing it for fun, that's always what I mean. Like the big projects and everything that I do now, it's very much work or like a means to an end career wise. But like this is something that I always enjoy, and it was super fun, taking last month off and just getting to do exactly what I always do normally on trips, because when you're broke and don't have a car in Los Angeles, there's not much to do, and so I just walk around by myself and take pictures of all the things I find interesting. So I wanted to run through that because it's almost like a fun little throwback Thursday, and if any of these images compel you, I was thinking that I would send them out as like postcards. So if you want to like for TBH, let me know what picture you liked. I will put a stamp on it, write you something, and send it out. Without further ado, I'm gonna just start in order. First things first, there's this little picture of Rosie in the hall to the bathroom. So this roll's black and white, if you can't tell. And I don't know, I've taken a lot of this photo, I feel like, over the time I've spent with them in the apartment. And I just really like this one because it seems like those ones you have, those pictures you have that get old, it's that. It's exactly what it is. And with the black and white and how the flash moved on it, I just feel like we get like this cool depth of her being in that kind of like all black looking fit, and then you have the dimension of the wall, but you still get like a peek down the hall with the mirrors and everything. It almost makes it like a big eternity in that area, and I like that. It's super casual, super chill. Next is the liquor store. I've stayed there so many times with Kale that I always take a picture of the liquor store, and I try to do it in a different way every time. And this time it's in black and white. Easy mix up, but also, I just only the top bit, didn't try to get like the entrance and things like that. Sometimes I have some of that already, and I don't know, I just love neon signs and all that. I think everyone does. And just walking underneath, I like how you can see in this image like the scale of it all, the different typography that they have going on. Like it's just so fun, and like such a fun mix. It feels like almost, I just watched The Grinch, right? So like it feels like the sets they have, it feels very over the top. And the black and white, I don't think took away from it. It's very colorful in real life, but I think I know actually for a fact it's super colorful and probably better not black and white, now that I say that. But during the walk I was wearing sunglasses, and they make the colors so intense and cool, and it is just so funny seeing these photos right now. I'll have the next one come up before I'm saying this. But yeah, it's so funny seeing these photos now because, you know, I know that it's not going to be in color when I'm shooting the roll, of course, but, you know, that's such a part of what draws my eye, you know? This one, it's funny, I was worried about this glare, but there's this guy moving, and he was sitting inside, you know, his moving truck on the little couch, and I don't usually talk to people, but I was like, hey, can I take your picture? And he's like, sure, but the glare, geez, the glare really screwed things up in terms of being able to see him. But I still think it's a pretty shot. You know, I like how the truck falls into darkness, and the road, even though it's black, is like glowing from how the angle of the sun, you know, like you have kind of like these very obvious diagonal lines. I'm a big diagonal guy. If you pay close attention to, not close attention, but if you pay attention to that in my work, it's a huge factor in how I shoot a lot of the time. There's some of my work that purposely goes against that, but like I'd say consistently I go for diagonals. Next up, Rosie again. This one, honestly, I really like as well. For what I was kind of trying to do there's this hard shadow going across the lawn, and it makes kind of this like swoop with her shoulders, and that's kind of what I was going for in the shot. In color, this would have been like a bright green, and then still pretty dark on top because of the exposures. But yeah, it's not necessarily a picture of Rosie as much as it is like a picture of like the shapes. And yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised how this turned out, honestly, because once again in color, I think it would have been sick, but I still like what Light's doing there. Next up, Rosie doing I feel like hair scalp oil in the mirror. I love you know, mirrors. I'm simple. Like, I feel like everyone has these kind of like things they like, and yeah, it was just fun to shoot her doing that. I shot her a few different times. I'm leaving out 2 of them just because you can see me in the mirror and I'm just like in my underwear, so it's kind of funny. But this one was my favorite. Funny enough, I was actually trying to get her hair flipping because she had flipped it from side to side as she was doing it, and I had her do it for me, and then the camera lagged because it's just a point and shoot to get focus, so it just took it right after and ended up being my favorite. So happy accidents. I think this is probably one of my favorites on the roll too, just the way, you know, this flash bounces off her hair in the back but then still lights her perfect in the reflection, and you don't have the glare of it. Like I wish a lot of these things, you know, that I love to shoot, you know, for fun, because there's so much I do that I have to like think about doing in my work, that I do by accident, and then I get to, you know, learn from that and pull from that. So very fun. Next up, trash car. So you know, there's this cars filled with trash on the road, and not the, oddly enough, that doesn't sound crazy, you know, I feel like it's pretty normal. And, you know, I wanted to shoot this one a little different, so I was like, oh, let's just get it from the mirror's perspective. So you can see a little bit in the trash in the corner, and then the trash in the mirror being like the main thing. And I really do like how dark around the mirror is exposed, you know, kind of get this like intense frame of the two, and you still get like a window into the street and everything. I don't know, I feel like maybe I'm getting like nostalgic, you know. That's the thing with black and white stuff. I feel like it's so easy to really rock with things that you would not rock with, because like I just love how, oh, you can tell there's another car in front, like you can still see the street, you get the vibe of the whole area, but you still have the dirty car with the trash inside and kind of like this own world within it. Yeah, just to move through, like related to that, of course, I tried to get a shot of the actual car for context so people could really see, you know, what's in it. People, this, you know me, I'm always taking all these photos for all the people. No, but I just thought it would be good to have that second angle and perspective. I do also like that you have in the rear window, like you can see the apartment complex once again with like the world of it all, you know. It's like you have this specific thing, but I like that the context is still there. And especially how these shadows are falling, like nuts. I don't even think I was noticing that in the moment, but getting it back, it's so clear like how these shadows came down. Very crazy, very cool. Pretty normal too, you know. That's what's so funny. It's like I think stuff is really tight, and like I could probably do this about any photo I post for sure. It's like I like all my work that I share, and it's just I always wonder what people think, because to me, you know, it's like it's all nice. This photo, I think I had a different plan in mind for it, but it was just to mess with form again. And like the silhouette of that leaf, I thought the leaf just looked crazy. You know, it's like almost like feathers, like a peacock or something. I think I did have it planned to be framed a little different, like that top leaf was supposed to be a little bit more in it, you know, so they're kind of like that balance between them, but it kind of got bottom leaf heavy. And yeah, I don't know, either way, you know, it's neat, but I think my plan for it was a little bit cooler. So when that happens, that is when the disappointment happens. And I think that's why I don't really enjoy my work as much as I do enjoy walking around, because I think walking around you are always pleasantly surprised, just like by like the beauty around you. But like in my work, it's like I'm doing construction, you know? And so it's like, oh, if the building is wonky at the end of your construction job, that is a bad thing. It's a failure. Versus, oh, you found a treehouse, like that's it, sick every time. Yeah, that's so horrible. Maybe this is not the right comparison, but voila. This next image, honestly, once again, I'm rocking with. Yeah, it's kind of it's close to actually this one graphic I like that I've had saved for like the longest time. I think I saw an actual poster of it somewhere in, I assume it was in Europe. This is probably in like, you know, London or something. But yeah, I just like that it was like there's this big poster, right, to sell this. I don't know, I assume it's like for some like, you know, designer chair, and then doing the same thing with like the throwaway couch in the street. And I pretty much deeped it that far when I took the picture, but not much deeper than that. I wanted it though cropped perfect, so like no road, no nothing. Like in a perfect world, I probably would have moved it 2 feet deeper into the street, and so it almost would be even closer copy of the inspo. And if I were to do it again, I think I would do that. But for the sake of the walking around role, I think it fits in better as is, you know, being natural rather than my like touched up version. Okay, next. This is a long video, guys. I'm sorry. This car, bitchin'. Is it? Doesn't look like it, not at first glance. But I know because I was there, and it was like this super sweet, like ocean, like green. I want to say ocean green, greenish blue. It was like had such a sweet shine to it. You know, it's just an old little car, but it was just such a nice color. I was like, I have to shoot it. I knew I was shooting black and white. I was like, no, I have to shoot it. I love the light coming off of it. It just looks so fun. And the actual image is not the same, but I think you can tell by how I was describing it, I don't care. I like the car enough. I do not care. Next is the hubcap to a old van. Once again, on this one, I think I would have probably meant to center it. I don't think I didn't center on purpose, knowing my personality. But I don't, like, once again, once you get the image back, it doesn't really matter. I think in black and white, this goes so hard in terms of like the textures and just the blackness of the tire. Like they're just at totally different exposures, you know? So it almost like makes it feel like a studio shot, the way the hubcap just sits on like nothing. It's very cool to me. I think this almost inspires me to want to use them as a prop in a photo shoot. So if you see that, know that that's exactly what it came from. And that's why we do what we do, because real life is where all the ideas come from. Okay, next one. This one has a fun little story with it. I'll hold it up. I'll hold it up how I probably would present it, like this. Yeah, so this one has a fun little bit. I was trying to take this photo. I was framing it. When I passed this place at first, I just really liked the triangle of light that was on the building. And then walking up to it, I realized like the shapes of the fence there. And I was like, oh, going for like the angle through the fence because it's like a gated community. Then, as I'm framing it up, because I shoot very slowly, a car pulls up and asks me what I'm doing. They open the gate moves. I only noticed because the gate started moving, and I'm like, oh, hey guys, because I had my headphones in. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I just really like this triangle. It's just so funny trying to explain it. And they're like, okay, cool, go ahead. And then they went through, and then I had to wait like a weird amount of time for the gate to close. It did not want to close. And then I got it, and I really like it because I just, I think this is one of those situations where black and white was like the perfect medium for it, because it just looks to me very propaganda postery, when you have these kind of emblems, which are like the top things of the of the fence. Like, almost looks like, you had rockets and you're sending them to space. Like, that to me is very propaganda. And the high contrast, the hard lines, like, I think that shit goes hard. Pardon my language, but that shit's hard. Next is this flower out of focus against the fence. TBH, I think I thought I had this in focus, but I'm glad it's out of focus. The flower at the bottom, oddly enough, is in focus if you see it kind of hidden between the leaves. It's crazy when you get like the physical images. Like, honestly, the scans, like, I don't give a shit. But when I have these physical pictures, I like them so much more. I just love seeing the little bud, and it's just crazy because, just in a sentimental way, like, it's winter, man. This is, the middle of December, and like, that's so sick that you could just go somewhere, or even like in my life, that I can even have the privilege to like hop on a plane and just F off and go chill somewhere where it's hot. It was like 80 this day. I'm walking around in 80-degree weather while everyone's freezing their butts off in New York. Very cool. This is probably one of my favorite pictures on the roll. The print feels insane. It's this Porsche behind a fence. Honestly, I always pass this guy's spot where he has these Porsches in that garage. Like, I just know it for a fact. I've never taken pictures of them, but he always has different Porsches there. I assume it's a couple of them, and like they kind of rotate, and there's also like this old like E30 in front too. Like, consistently, like, I'm very jealous of this person in that sense. But I walked up to it for once, and because I usually am too shy to like approach anything because I don't like getting in trouble. And I was trying to figure out a way to shoot it, and I was kind of like looking above the fence, and then I was like, wait a second, if I can get this to focus right, like, this is kind of cool. And I really like it. It feels like it's like there's this whole other image on top of the Porsche, but then you have this like like totally separate Porsche, very visible, even like with everything in front. It's very clear lines. It's still well lit, well exposed. Like, this shot makes me very happy because the camera's automatic. There's only so much I can control, so I just kind of tell the focus what to do. But it turned out like cooler than I could imagine, and I think the black and white really brings it out. Like, I think in color it could have gotten a little busy, but black and white, like, you see every line. That's all there is to see. So, super sick. If you don't like that one, screw you. Next is this one. I feel like this feels simple, but to me it's complicated in the sense I just it's just line work that I'm trying to mess with. It's like, you have the hard shadow, you've got this so much darker bench. Like, sometimes what pulls me is pretty much just that, like, just the different boxes. This is another example of the diagonal thing that I love, essentially. Like, that's exactly what's happening here. It's just a taste thing. Like, other people might like that, might not, but like, for me, it's just all about these lines converging in different ways that I think is cool. I did a drawing class once, and I literally like, we do still lifes. I draw the same way. That's for some reason that's what I fancy, I guess. But if that shot isn't cool to you, I totally understand. But to me, it goes hard. Lots of lines, especially in black and white. In black and white, like, that's what you're looking at. Like, there's not really much else to consider, in my opinion. other than like contrast, it's like the lines. Like, I guess you can worry about the content, but when I'm walking around, that's not really my thing, because if I wanted to like just have the coolest thing in it, I'd go somewhere with like specifically cool stuff. But I'm just, you know, alone trying to find pretty things in the world, you know. I don't know. That's my take. I don't, it's not like deep. I think you can do it any way you want. This shot also, it's kind of like a line situation. That being said, though, what attracted to me were the colors. Like, I think if I had this in color, this would be a very pleasing image, but I don't. So black and white wise, though, you have these layers of contrast. Like, it goes from full black to like almost full white. Like, I don't know, like I can't really want anything else, you know. It's cool, you know, the illusion, you get almost the, you know, those illusions where it's like this endless staircase. Like, I feel like just a bit of that, you know. It's almost the only context like you get is that very bottom corner where it's like, oh, maybe there's like, I think that's the end of a car, you know. But like if you took just this area, it's just kind of like its own little world. Very cool to me. See, this video's so long, but like I think ideally this is what I make, so let me know if you rock with this, because like I could do this forever. Next image, this, once again, to me, diagonals, we got them. Scale, look at those numbers, bro. Big, crazy. And contrast, oh my goodness. Like, once you know that's what I'm looking at, I feel like it's very obvious, my decision making. But yeah, no, I just thought there's like a cool chance to like mess with the sizes there, you know, like these bold numbers. It's very graphic. It's like just like creating graphics, but also putting in the world context. Because I feel like, at least for me as a graphic designer, you know, you kind of see that as like a single plane, but then putting it in the 3D world, it's just so much cooler, you know. So once again, this is a shot that I think framing wise maybe would have been different if I was like seeing through the lens, but it's like, you know, you can't on the camera, so it's close enough. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And then once it also black and white, I think helped that. Okay, this one, kind of crazy. It kind of goes hard. Just in what the light is doing to that object, I just think it is like, you know, you have this orb in real life, you know, like it's like you don't necessarily see orbs, but like in terms of what, once again, black and white kind of creating this feeling of like, this isn't an object, this is like a form. It's like very cool to see. You have the very textured wall, and then I remember once again seeing this and I was like, oh my goodness, in terms of like, this is a big red circle that's shiny, and that was it. It's almost like the hubcap mentality. I think it's a very similar situation where you just have these textures and these contrasts happening. I do like how the bottom line runs all the way down the frame or up the frame, depending on how you hold it. I think it was actually oriented like this though in real life. But yeah, midday, beaming sun, cool reflection, kind of a fun shot. Once again, very studio vibes. Next, there's this. This is just the corner of an abandoned shop. Yeah, you see once again kind of my diagonal thing going on. Like always, I usually always try to capture things to have a feeling of depth. I said that once and I'll say it again. The cone is my favorite part of this image by far. The numbers and the cones, like it's like there's so many little pieces of texture here that I think make it like very fun and very like real, you know, like the little graffiti. Like there's very small little signature things that I feel like make the space seem really big, but also, you know, make it what it is, you know. It's the personality of the whole thing. Yeah, and then how the shadow cuts through very hard. I got my diagonal once again, and yeah, no, this shot is pleasant to me. I think I don't know, I would love to see all these in color just to be like, huh, this is what this is what that means. This one, a person, crazy. Yeah, that's crazy for me, because I never take pictures of people. I get very uncomfortable, unless, you know, of course it's like studio. And this guy had come up to me and asked to use my phone, and he was calling his wife to let her know that he was going to be home. And yeah, he has a little rocker with him. I just snapped this real quick while he was on the phone. I did try to ask his permission. I don't know. I get so uncomfortable for that kind of stuff. I did try to ask him. He was just, he's locked in, chatting the wife. So I just got this shot really fast. But it was very cool because, like, I won't talk to people or walk up to them a lot of the time. But having someone walk up to me, I was like, perfect. Because I had looked at it. I'd seen him when I was walking. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. In Encino, where they're at, where I stay, is there's a ton of old people. Everyone walking around is old. And so, yeah, it was... I always want to shoot them, but I also don't want to cause a hullabaloo, so it was an awesome opportunity that presented itself. This is me in the reflection of a Domingos, I think, deli. It's like an Italian deli out there in the town. At the time, looking with my eyes, I think that this one might be a little bit better in color, and that like you could get like the depth. Because you can actually see super far down the road in this image. It's not very clear right now. It's just not as clear as I would have wanted, like as sharp as I would have wanted. But like, yeah, it's very, I don't know what happened in terms of like it being very bloomy and kind of like glowy. Maybe I got some like grease on the lens from my sandwich. But like, yeah, you can just see super deep into the horizon. And I thought that was cool. It's a diagonal thing, you got that depth. And then, yeah, I'm there in the corner, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, that's that. Not my favorite photo, I'm not gonna lie. This one, I'm gonna hold it this way. A little palm tree reflection in my phone. I was stoked on this, just because it's pretty obvious, But for me, like, for some reason, I don't know, I had my phone sitting there as I was eating, and I saw the palm tree in it, and I was like, that's crazy. And so I was like, let's try to get a picture. And I haven't really tried to do something like that. And so it made me very happy when I got the picture back and like the palm tree was in focus and all that jazz. And it's just fun, frame and frame and the upside down, it's just a confusing little interesting piece. Okay, and then the last one, almost a half an hour. Jeez Louise, you guys are weird if you've seen this far. Boom. This is the last shot. I, kind of took it just to take it, but I didn't. Actually, I say that, I'm just speaking out my butt. I did want to finish the roll. That is true. I was trying to get that done. I knew I was on my way back, walking wise, so I wasn't going to see necessarily anything that new unless it was a person. And I really liked what was happening back in the, back in that parking lot, when you see all like the trees and everything. That's not, I'm not from California, right? And so like every time I see those kind of lines of trees like that and all green, it's like, ooh, to me. And so I want to get that. And then I used my eyes and I realized there was a guy there hidden behind like this thing, like this sheet blocking the sun that was like checking people in, and then you had like the whole tent situation around him. And at first I was like, dang it, like, oh, I don't really want to explain as I walk it into this parking area for no reason, essentially, and get this shot of just the trees. But instead then I looked and I was like, okay, well, there's a frame here. And so I backed up and kind of like got this whole like gatekeeper situation going on. And I think it turned out really cool, honestly, and maybe a little bit more interesting for sure, because, him being almost totally hidden, you just have his little feet poking out, and then just the wind blowing on the umbrella is just very cool to me. The top's a little heavy, like maybe I would crop out that big black mass, but I don't know. Right now I'm liking it, so that's that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna cut it off here. That's too much. I hope you liked it. If you liked any of the pictures, let me know. I'll mail it to you. First come, first serve, though. But thanks for watching. If you watched it this long, you're crazy. Let me know if I should keep doing this or do a recap or something like that. Godspeed. Goodbye.